Hi, I'm Marge Robeson, registered dietitian with Pisonic Partners.
And I'm Louis Aguilar, the cook at LCCAA Head Start.
And I am Melinda Gray, food service manager at LCCAA Head Start.
Welcome to our Out of the Box cooking series, where we're featuring how to build a better breakfast. So I think breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. What do you think, Louis?
I definitely agree with you.
You like your breakfast in the morning?
And help me start the day.
Awesome. You notice a difference when you don't eat breakfast in the morning?
I do.
Good. Okay, great. What about you, Melinda?
Not really a breakfast eater, but I think I may become one since I do need the energy in the morning.
Yes, something other than a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. So, breakfast I do think is one of the most important meals of the day, and research supports that. People who eat breakfast in the morning tend to have better control of their weight and are at a reduced risk for cardiovascular disease, stroke, and diabetes. And for kids, breakfast is super important because breakfast helps them with attention. Kids who eat breakfast in the morning, adults too, tend to have better vitamin, mineral, nutrition intake in their diets. And kids who eat breakfast actually do better on tests than kids who skip breakfast, particular in the area of math and spelling. So breakfast really does fuel you for the day. But unfortunately, oftentimes people eat foods for breakfast that aren't so nutritious and don't fuel them in the best way for their body. Like, what are some common things you see people eating for breakfast?
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, yes.
Donuts.
Donuts.
Sugary cereal.
Sugary cereals. So a lot of times for breakfast, what people are eating are what we call refined, processed carbohydrates that don't really fuel you, again, for the day. They tend to give you a burst of energy from all that carbohydrate, and then shortly after you're feeling sluggish. So some of the components that I think make a healthy breakfast are protein and fiber. Protein and fiber are two nutrients that help fill you up and keep you satiated during the day and give you long-lasting energy. So today we are making overnight oats. Have you ever had overnight oats, made overnight oats?
I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
great. And what about you, Melinda?
No, I haven't.
Because you don't eat breakfast.
No.
So we're hoping with a recipe like this, maybe we can even convince Melinda. What I like about overnight oats is oats have fiber in them. And we're gonna add some protein in there. So this is, again, a great, convenient, easy way to start your day with breakfast. So we're gonna wash our hands and get ready to make our overnight oats. We're ready to start making our overnight oats. And because overnight oats are so versatile, we're basically taking the same recipe, but Louis is going to make a version that's called banana bread overnight oats and tastes like banana bread, and I'm making one that's called apple pie overnight oats. So you'll see there's just a subtle difference in what we're putting into the oats and then how we'll top them at the end, but you can, again, these are recipes that you can substitute in other things if you like. So when we're gonna have the difference is my recipe uses applesauce because I'm making the apple pie, and Louis uses bananas. And so he has to, I think, mash his bananas, and I get the easier recipe where I'm using applesauce. So it calls for a cup of applesauce. You'll get in your box these small cups of applesauce, and you'll just use, each one of these are a half a cup, so you'll be using 2 of those.
And for the banana portion on my recipe, it's very easy and this is very fun also.
I think
And
this
the
would
kids
be a,
will
yeah.
enjoy this part. And it calls for 2 bananas. And all we're gonna essentially do is mash them. Now we do have a masher here. If you do not have a masher, feel free to use a fork. Feel free to use a spoon, wooden spoon. All you're doing is going to mash it against the sides of the bowl.
And then what I like, you know, of course, Overnight Oats has oats, and oats are a great source of fiber. So that's why they're a lot better than a lot of those processed cereals that we eat that don't have any fiber in them. So each of us are going to use a cup of oats. So if you don't mind, take a cup of these oats. And I will say this recipe is fairly forgiving. So if you go a little over, a little under, that's fine. So we each have our cup of oats. And then a cup of milk goes into these. If you don't use dairy milk, you can substitute a different milk, so an almond milk, an oat milk, a soy milk, whichever is the milk of your choice. So you can see we both have the same. The only difference is mine has applesauce and Lewis's had the banana. And then Greek yogurt. So one of the benefits of Greek yogurt is that it's higher in protein. So I always, again, like a breakfast that has some protein and fiber in it. And so this recipe with the Greek yogurt that's higher in protein has both of those. So I have my half cup of Greek yogurt. Give that to you. And this is really quick and easy to put together. Probably if I were at home, I wouldn't even measure the Greek yogurt. I just put in what I think is about a half cup. Like I said, the recipe's pretty forgiving if you go over. I would err on the side of over because it gives you a little bit more protein. And then just to sweeten it a little bit, it calls for a teaspoon of maple syrup. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon of maple syrup in there. Again, you could use honey or just regular sugar. I think this works well with that kind of banana bread flavor.
Could you use something like agave?
You could use agave or a sugar substitute if that's your preference. And then for a little bit of seasoning, we're going to add some vanilla extract. So I have some vanilla extract. I think the banana bread one says you could use almond extract as an option.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to skip that part. And then some cinnamon. Both of them have some cinnamon in there. And then what do they say? A little bit of salt if you want to put some salt in there. That's just a pinch that can bring out the flavors also. And that's it, right?
That's it.
So we
That's
just
incorporating all this together.
So right now, if you look at it, you're like, yeah, I don't know if I'd want to eat that, right? But the whole idea overnight oats is this is going to sit in the refrigerator overnight, and those oats are going to absorb the liquid. So this again is a great do-ahead recipe.
Yes.
And gosh, we did apple pie and banana, but again, you can change this up. One of my favorite ways to do overnight oats is I'll use the same recipe, but maybe instead of the applesauce, I like, especially in the fall, I'll do a pumpkin overnight oats, like a pumpkin pie. Instead of the applesauce, I use canned pumpkin.
Sounds really
So
good.
that's a favorite of mine to do in the fall. Do you have any variations you've ever done on overnight oats?
Blueberry.
Blueberry, yeah.
I love blueberry in my oats.
Yep.
It's delicious.
Yeah, so you could use even like a blueberry Greek yogurt and then top it with blueberry. So it's, again, just a canvas. You can do with it what you want. So once this is just all mixed together and quite liquidy, we can either just cover this and put it in the refrigerator, and then in the morning you can take out a portion, or you can do individual portions. So in your box, you will be getting these containers. So if you prefer, you can put some of the liquid in an individual container. So we're gonna put our oats in the refrigerator overnight, and then they'll be ready for us in the morning. Our oats have sat in the refrigerator overnight, and they're ready to be eaten in the morning, right?
Yes.
So I think what you could do is if you want, you could just keep them in the bowl, like I said, and take out, put some in a bowl that you would like, okay? You could have pre-portioned it in an individual container if you wanted to do it that way, right?
And I see what you were talking about. A lot of that liquid got absorbed by the oats.
Yeah.
It's nice and thick now.
For me, it's the perfect consistency. If people like it thinner, you could always now add a little bit more milk to it if you wanted. If yours are, if you like a thinner oat, you can add a little bit of milk to it. I know a lot of people eat their overnight oats cold. Do you eat them cold?
Cold.
Cold?
Cold,
Okay.
yes.
Usually I like it heated up a little bit, so I might put it in the microwave for a couple of minutes. But these, when I've tasted them, they do taste like apple pie and banana bread, so I don't mind this version on the colder side. And then just to top them, mine is the apple pie, so I'm gonna take a apple and just dice some apple on there. And yours is the banana. So I'm just dicing a little bit of apple on top of mine, again, as much as you want. And then you're gonna garnish yours with banana.
A little extra banana. Small.
And then it's good to have a little bit of crunch. So the recipe calls for topping it with something like some nuts. So you will be getting in your bag a little bag of nuts, and you could use whatever kind of nuts you want. I think we'll be sending home walnuts.
Walnuts.
Okay. Walnuts, again, super healthy, omega-3 fatty acids, so I love to incorporate walnuts anywhere I can.
And you can eat them whole, but I like to kind of break mine down a little bit. And while it's in its packaging or a Ziploc bag, I'll set some aside, and I'll, with my fingers or on your counter, make sure the bag is.
Yeah.
And this is something that's another fun part of this is good for me.
So just sprinkle some of those on top. Great. And so if you don't eat nuts or have an allergy to nuts, another option is like a seed. So I have some like sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds, whatever you like. I like nuts, but just for something different, maybe if you have kids that don't, my kids love sunflower seeds, I might put a few sunflower seeds on there.
Hey Marge, how long is this good in the refrigerator?
So this will keep up to 5 days, so whether you put it in the bowl and keep it in the whole bowl in your refrigerator and take some out every day, or you make the individual jars, it can stay in the refrigerator up to 5 days. So what I might do is, make a batch on a Sunday night and then have it for my breakfast for the week. And take out a little bit every day. So we have both our banana, you'll see, and our apple overnight oats. Okay? And because I like mine warm, but this one's cold, I'm gonna give it the taste test. It is good. It's like over apple pie.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think something like that with the Greek yogurt, with the protein, it checks those boxes with protein and fiber. I think it's kid friendly.
I love that you can prep it ahead.
You can prep it ahead.
Yes.
Very, again, versatile. Use this as your canvas. I think this also is a great recipe. Most of the steps in here I think are really kid friendly for them, kids to help make. And then they will be excited to have a healthy breakfast in the morning.